Greetings, Uncle Travelling Matt here. We're starting the 7th day and I am at Madaba Museum, which is more mosaics. Got a Bronze Age temple there, nice. And more artifacts. Now the big news today is that I have, oh that's a nice one, isn't it? And I have a rental car coming, so hopefully all that faffing around from yesterday, where I spent most of the day on the bus rather than actually seeing anything, will be a thing of the past. And my aim today is to get down to the Dead Sea. It's also to get to Bethany beyond the Jordan, which is the place of Jesus' baptism, or one of the supposed places of Jesus' baptism, and possibly a hot spring, and maybe Mount Nebo, when Moses gazed upon the promised land. So we're going to be hitting the holy sites in a big way today. But that's when the car comes at 10. So in the meantime, I'm going to have a look around here, and I may pop up to St. John's Church and have a look at some of the stuff under there. I went there yesterday for Mass, which was very nice. It's very strange, of course, to attend a Mass where, you know, they're talking about Allah, and they're using all these terminology that you would normally associate with Islam in a Catholic Mass. But yeah, it was really nice, actually, really nice. And I stayed at this amazing hotel with Yusuf and his wife, whose name I'm sorry I've forgotten. She did tell me. And they're the really most loveliest hosts, and they speak excellent English as well, so we can have a really quality discussion with them. So yeah, so that's what's happening, still in Madaba. Here's a bit of a panorama of Madaba. Yeah. We have more mosaics here. These are in a room in the museum, but what gets me is that there's swastikas all over this. Now, I know that the swastika is an ancient symbol for the sun, but I didn't know it was used around here. I knew it was used in India and up in the Caucasian mountains. But it seems to have been quite popular here as well. You learn something new every day. So I'm now at St. John's Roman Catholic Church. It's quite a new construction, but it's built on top of the old Acropolis, the very oldest bit of Madaba. And I went to Mass here last night. It was very pleasant, but now I'm going to go and explore underneath the church. I'm now under the Catholic Church of St. John, and even though the church is only dating from the early years of the 20th century, underneath it there is this well. It's a Moabite well. It's 3,000 years old, and there's more. Now also under the church is this place, which is the shrine of John the Baptist. Whether it's the actual place where he was beheaded is another matter. It probably isn't. I've heard that's 5 kilometers away. But we tell the story. It says, at the time Herod the Tetrarch heard about the reputation of Jesus, and he said to his court, "This is John the Baptist himself. He is risen from the dead, and that is why miraculous powers are at work in him." Now it was Herod who had arrested John, chained him up and put him in prison because of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. For John had told him, "It is against the law for you to have her." He'd wanted to kill her, but was afraid of the people who regarded John as a prophet. Then, during the celebrations for Herod's birthday, the daughter of Herodias danced before the company, and so delighted Herod that he promised an oath to give her anything she asked. Prompted by her mother, she said, "Give me John the Baptist's head here on a dish." The king was distressed, but thinking the oaths he had sworn and of his guests, he ordered it be given to her, and sent and had John beheaded in the prison. The head was brought in on a dish and given to the girl, who took it to her mother. John's disciples came and took the body and buried it, and then went off to tell Jesus. And there's a picture. This is actually in the church as well, and you can see Salome, the daughter, with her mother there looking on. I think it is one of those quite a powerful and quite a human story. It's one of those ones in the Bible I like, partly because I like temptresses, but you know, he berates the king because of who the girl he's getting with. The girl gets angry, even though she knows she's done wrong, and so gets her daughter to do the dirty work by charming the guy that she's together with. I mean, it's all very incestuous, but that's humanity, isn't it? That's what people are like. And there's John on a platter, eating to be given to a dancing girl. And here we have a map of what Madaba looked like in the 6th century. So the Acropolis there, the mount is there, 13, that's where we are now. So the church is built on top of the Acropolis. And down here we have the Roman street with the buildings next to it, the burnt palace and the churches that I visited yesterday. And it was walled. I'm guessing there were more buildings than these. These are just the ones I know about. That was Madaba in the 6th century. And it's probably not very clear, but I mean a reconstruction of the tent of Ruth. And of course, Ruth is associated with the Moabites, who were the people in this area. So I'm guessing that's why they've reconstructed her tent here. So I'm now on the top of the bell tower of the Catholic Church in Madaba. I am absolutely petrified. I don't really do heights that well. But the views up here are pretty good, so yeah, I suppose it's worth doing. Not a big place. There's St. George Church, the Orthodox one. There's the main mosque, obviously, and all the old stuff is kind of in and around that area. Yeah, there's one. Wow, this is pretty. Ooh. Yeah. So there we are. This is Madaba. Impressed with inside the tower is some of the graffiti. So we have some romantic stuff there. Ghana, year of return. Don't know what that is. Armenia. I assume we've got a bit of politics. I quite like this one here. Times Square can't shine as bright as you. Lovely. So close, no matter how far. So I'm now driving my car and heading out of Madaba and heading, look at that, cool plane. Heading towards Mount Nebo, where Moses once surveyed the Holy Land, the Promised Land.
In 100 meters, turn left. Take the
I decided to go to the Moses Spring first, and there's this archaeological site on the way. I don't even know what it is. It's just there. That on the top is Mount Nebo, and over there is the Promised Land, which we'll probably see a bit better later on. There's no explanation to what this site is.
Então sempre tem que ser a vez com uma visão básica. Quando tem o segundo tipo da igreja também, que chama igreja de uma estado, que da mesma forma, mas sem as colunas. E o terceiro tipo, que chama igreja central, que corresponde com o museu, que fica no meio. Única que nós temos aqui de época, em norte da Jordânia, que é uma cidade que chama Gadara, onde aconteceu aquele partido.
So here I am on the top of Mount Nebo, and according to legend, this is, or near to here, is where Moses stood and looked out upon the promised land before his death. If I remember right, he wasn't allowed to go into the promised land because he committed the sin of murder. But he was allowed to look on it. Though there we have before us is that's the Dead Sea over there, and that is, of course, Israel or Palestine, if you prefer. The Jordan Valley, and then behind us is this cross there, and this is the church, which is actually a new church, but it's built on the foundations of a very old one with some incredible mosaics. So this is Mount Nebo. Keep travelling. Here's my little car. So this is the Orthodox Patriarch Museum. Got some pretty cool icons. I think that's Elijah on his chariot. And who have we got here? St. Anne and St. Joachim. John, maybe? There's of course a copy of Jerusalem on the map. When I went in, they said you had to be as part of a group because it's a military area. And I saw the sign off going to that. I thought, fuck the group, I can't be arsed with it. So I sneaked off. See if I get in trouble. Well, it says in the Bible that John preached in the wilderness. And this is a pretty wildernessy type place, if we're honest about it. Although, it's dead geared up for tourists these days. They've got this off to a fine art. It's 2 kilometres away from the car park. So I thought that'd be quite a nice walk. But no, because it's a military area, you can't walk it. And there were checkpoints, to be fair. We are right on the border here. I haven't actually seen the Jordan yet. I'm guessing it's just below there. But, yeah, they seem to be pretty organised and slick, which always puts me off a bit. Yeah, let's go. So, here is the River Jordan, which, seeing as it's amongst the most famous rivers in the world, is not the most spectacular, if we're honest. Just have a country named after it, and a glamour model as well. There, one assumes, is the baptismal site. Well, surely that's in a different country. There's also a big church over there. There's churches all over the place. There was an Armenian one on the hill that looked quite interesting. Don't know if I can get to that though. Let's get going. So here's the site of Jesus' baptism. At one time there was a spring here that met with the Jordan. The river's a little further away now. and they actually lost the baptismal site. And the reason it's been refound is because of the Madama map. When that was discovered, it showed where it was, and there were descriptions of 5 churches out in the wilderness, and then they found these ruins of 5 churches and realised it all matched up. So here we are at the site of Christ's baptism. Hallelujah. Now inside the church, or the scant remains of the church that was built on the baptism site, the mosaics here are not quite up to the standard of the others, but it's the spot that matters. So, here's the baptism site, and you can see those other churches around about on the hill. There's, from the left to the right, there's a Coptic, an Armenian, and a Lutheran one, and then there's one over there as well. But I'm heading to this, which looks Orthodox, and there's a lot of noise coming from over there. Now, it sounds like Africans getting baptized on the Israeli side. Let's take a look. I looked at a Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. Angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. So I'm moving on from Bethany beyond the Jordan, the site of Jesus' baptism, to the Dead Sea. So that is the Dead Sea that I'm driving alongside. I'm going to try and find a spot to get a bit of a dunk. Not that you can dunk in it very easily because it's so full of salt, hence it being dead. But there's also a hot spring place down this way, so I'm going to have a look for that as well. So here we are, the Dead Sea. So, I may not be at one of the Dead Sea's classiest beaches, but this is probably one of the cheapest, and that's because there's nobody else here. In fact, there's nothing here except Dead Sea and beach and bits of litter, but a lot cheaper than the 20 quid they were charging down the road for the main public beach. So, this is very hard. They do say you should have like plastic shoes to do the bike riding. So I am treading on encrusted salts and going down my first dip into the Dead Sea. A few facts, not really a sea, it's more a lake. rivers flow into it, but they don't flow out because it all evaporates. It's shrinking because they're taking the water. I believe the Israelis are the prime suspects for that one. And not a lot lives in it, if anything, because it's so salty. It's also the lowest spot on the earth. So there we are. Oh, yes. It doesn't feel particularly different to the sea now. It's very extremely buoyant. But yeah, there we are. There's me and the Dead Sea. This is one of the times I wish I had a GoPro, because then you can see me floating in there. You really do float on it, it's amazing. That's fucking horrible. Oh my god, I got salt in my eyes and they still hurt. Several minutes later, it knackers. I kind of feel smooth. I don't know, kind of smell healthy on there. I can't even open my eyes properly. Yeah, I've done it. Take that one off the lid. The Dead Sea, ladies and gentlemen, the Dead Sea. You know me, ever since I lived in Japan, there's one thing that I cannot miss, and that is an onsen. So let's go for the main hot springs. I think I have found a new onsen heaven. This is one of the best I've been outside of Japan. At that. So the main hot spring is one of the best onsens I've been basically since Japan, I think. It's absolutely gorgeous. The water's coming down there at about 40 degrees centigrade. It's a proper temperature, it's not lukewarm, it's not too sulphury, and it's not salty at all. I feel so alive. Also interesting, apart from a couple of Arabs, I think I'm the only non-Russian here as well. I don't know why, but the Russians are flocking to this place. Although, to be fair, there's been a lot of Russians in Jordan, full stop. Seems to be a big place for them to go. Anyway, this is the main hot spring.